All right, so there's my Nemesis from the other night right here. Problem with this flashlight is this is the on-off switch right here. Okay? And the only time it lights up green is when you press it. So it doesn't have a tail. It doesn't have a tail switch. That's the magnet. You have to remember that when you pick this up, you have to, your thumb has to have some muscle memory to remember there's the light. But during the night, I couldn't find this. For some reason, I couldn't feel that. So I couldn't get the light on. And it upset me. Gosh, why would it upset you, geezer? Well, you can understand why, right? Because I'm running my thumb over that. See, when you run your thumb over this part, okay, you got some indentations there. When you run your thumb over this is actually smooth. It doesn't feel like a button. It is a button, but it doesn't feel like a button, okay? And that's the problem with it, okay? All right. While we're talking about things, I've been in hurricanes, I've been in tornadoes, but I have not been in a flood of this magnitude. I've been in a flood where we were in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania on a historical weekend trip. I guess we're in the 20s, 4 of us. 2 urban guys and 2 Boy Scouts. The Boy Scouts, I'll never even forget. I never forget the area. It was called Colonel Crickett's Babbling Brook Campground. There's a little creek there, and all the campsites were along the creek. And I told these guys, I said, I don't think this is a good idea to camp here. That we should leave here and go to higher ground. And if there's no higher ground, we should go find a different campsite. Oh, you know what you're talking about. I said, well, it's going to rain. And this is a creek, and you could see along the banks that the creek becomes a river. You don't know what you're talking about. Democratic system rules, so I was overridden. We put the tents up, and it rained during the night. And what happened? The creek became a river, and the river was flowing through the tents. We all scrambled up. The tents were washed away. We had to seek shelter to high ground, which was in a broken down cabin. Colonel Cricket came by and said, you boys stay right there. I got to come back with help to retrieve you. Well, Colonel Cricket didn't come back with help until the next day. And of course, we suffered being wet, we suffered being cold. We did have our backpacks, we did have some gear, not much. Luckily, we were able to make a very, very small fire that we were able to warm ourselves somewhat. But that's my experience. I had no experience of what's going on in North Carolina. I have no experience going on with massive destruction other than Colonel Cricket's Babbling Brook in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, 40-something years ago. That's the only thing I could share. Hope everybody's okay in North Carolina, Georgia, South Carolina, Florida, Tennessee. One day when I meet the Lord, I'm going to ask him or her why we have to suffer like this. I'm just curious. I really am. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you on the next one.